should always see the good side of people. For example, Hitler.
Guys, today is not a good day. The snow is still on the ground after 48 hours, and that's about as long as I am able to welcome snow, and that's not even the worst of it. For reasons unbeknownst to me, over the last 3 hours, my front yard has become a meeting ground for every child in the neighborhood to sled down. Why? I have no idea. I know maybe 4 people in my neighborhood, and none of them are the people in my front yard. But I kid you not, there are about 8 different families in my front yard right now. So if you hear screaming in the background or somebody crashing and breaking a bone, don't worry. That's because my office borders my front yard and these people are about 10 feet away from me. So that's super cool. What's also pretty cool is that it seems like that vegan teacher has officially lost every last marble she's ever had. It's gotten kind of bad. Over the last week or so, that vegan teacher has been uploading some videos that have me questioning how she's doing. Videos including this one titled "Hitler was a nice guy," or this one titled "All Jews and Palestinians should be vegan." Now, I don't know if we've just finally hit the point where that vegan teacher is having to do every single thing left in the book to try and get views. I think it's been pretty obvious for quite some time at this point that that vegan teacher's content is nothing but rage bait these days, but videos like this seem a little bit low even for her standards. It's been probably 4 or 5 months since I talked about this woman, so I figured I would come and check in on her, and even for her, these videos kind of caught me off guard. So I thought we'd give them a watch and see if Miss Katie has actually just lost her mind at this point, or if this is just some really poor taste, good old-fashioned vegan rage bait. At this point, I don't know which one I really think is more likely. I guess we'll find out. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
All right, let's look at a comment here that is in my comment section on my YouTube channel. This person says, the thing about her, meaning me, is that she only sees the bad side of people and not the good side. Like me, not vegan. I volunteer at an animal shelter every Saturday.
Alrighty, so we've got a person in the vegan teacher's comment section talking about how Miss Katie only sees the bad side of people, and that once she learns a person eats meat, every good thing they do goes right out the window. None of that is taken into consideration. They're automatically a bad person because they eat meat, which is a pretty fair analysis. So this person says they go to the animal shelter every Saturday, I guess to say that they eat meat, but they don't hate animals. They still care about living things, but they still choose to eat meat because, well, it's a part of life. I'm sure that vegan teacher will have a very level-headed and rational response to this comment.
Wow, what a nice person. So you volunteer at an animal shelter and then you go home to pay people to murder chickens, cows, and pigs, and then you shove them down your pie hole. Good work. I mean, hey, after all, I agree with you. We should always see the good side of people. For example, Hitler. Besides the fact that he murdered millions of innocent people, I'm sure he was deep down a good guy.
Yeah, so this right here is why I think that vegan teacher has gone a little bit past her normal rage baiting, and now it might be time to actually deplatform her. So here, she is genuinely comparing a person who occasionally eats meat as part of their diet to a man who was personally responsible for the death of over 11 million people. I mean, this character she's playing at this point is so unbelievably hypocritical, it's almost humorous. She talks about how everyone who eats meat is unethical and a terrible person, while only a person with zero morals would ever make a comparison like this. You're free to think a person who eats meat is a bad person, that's completely fine. Everyone's entitled to their own moral compass. If you think eating meat is immoral, I'm not going to try and change your mind, but that doesn't mean you get to make comparisons like this, not without getting called insane. If you genuinely think that leading a genocide attempt and eating a hamburger are on the same level of immorality, you need to be locked up. You are a danger to society.
Who said please and thank you once in a while. According to your logic, a person can murder and still be good.
So this is something I've heard from vegans quite often, not just that vegan teacher, the idea that humans are murdering animals to eat them. And personally, I disagree. I feel like the word murder implies some sort of injustice. It's like if somebody was trying to kill you, and you killed them in self-defense, that would not be murder. Very similarly, if you kill an animal to eat it, I don't see how that can be considered murder. Now, if you're going out and like shooting a lion to make a rug out of it, okay, yeah, I can see how that would be seen as murder. I don't think trophy hunting is a good thing, and I don't think people should do it. But if you're going deer hunting to get some deer meat, fine by me. A black and white viewpoint hardly ever works for any sort of situation. Trying to make it seem like killing an animal and killing a human are the same thing is insane. If it was, then going vegan would never be enough. You should be imprisoned. If a person killed 10,000 people over their lifetime, but when they turned 45, they decided, you know what, I'm gonna stop killing people, would they be a good person? No. If a person person ate meat 5 times a week, every week until they were 45 and then decided to go vegan, would they be a good person? To that vegan teacher, they would. It's not the same thing. You can say eating meat is immoral all you want. I'm not going to hold anything against you for that, but don't compare it to killing a human. Unless you're insane, you know it's not the same thing.
So, if your mom was kidnapped, raped, tortured, pinned down, forced to have her milk stolen, we should see the good in the person that did that because, maybe that week he held the door open for someone. Yep, extremely logical. Good work. Looking at the fact that you, like Hitler, are also good sometimes. Way to go, day and night, number 994.
Can you imagine being so delusional that you think you are on the logical side of the argument here? You are comparing one of the worst people to ever live in human history to a random YouTuber who is probably like 12 based off of this comment because they like to eat bacon occasionally. Even if this is just rage bait, it takes a special kind of person to come up with this stuff. So this video is just another sad attempt to use things going on in the real world to bring attention to that vegan teacher and her channel. The title really has nothing to do with the video, which I don't really know if that's a good thing or not. It's definitely pretty exploitative given what's going on right now, but I guess it's better than using that situation to try and make people go vegan. This is basically just clickbait, which I guess is better than the alternative. It's basically just her going through a bunch of groups of people and giving them reasons as to why them not being vegan goes against what they stand for. For example, she says that all police officers should be vegan because police officers become police officers because they want to see a difference in the world and they want to keep the peace, which is not true if you've met many police officers, and that not being a vegan directly goes against that because you're not being peaceful with the animals. You're just creating chaos. She also said that all fathers should be a vegan because fathers are naturally protective and they should want to protect all the animals, and eating them is not protecting them. It's basically just 10 minutes straight of nothing but straw man arguments trying to equate different things to being a vegan when none of it really makes sense or has anything to do with what your dietary choices are. Now look, you guys know that I laugh at most conspiracy theories, but I'm honestly starting to believe that that vegan teacher might be some sort of plant from like big meat. It's just getting too ridiculous to think that these are actually organic thoughts from a person's brain. And not just that, organic thoughts from a person's brain that they think are gonna help their cause. There's really only a few universal ways to guarantee that you lose credibility, and comparing somebody to Hitler is one of them. I'm just so torn because on one hand, I don't think that a person would dedicate this much of their life to this kind of activism if they didn't at least kind of believe in it. I mean, this woman has been doing this for years, and it's not like her YouTube channel is really that popular. She doesn't get that many views. This isn't bringing in that much money, so you'd think that she has to at least somewhat be doing this seriously, but also she doesn't seem like she's stupid, so she's gotta know that these comparisons she draws, these videos that she makes, they're not doing anybody any good, especially not vegans. It's just strange. I've never seen a person so dedicated to being self-destructive. I've said this before, I'll say it a million times again, and I fully believe it. That vegan teacher has done far more harm for veganism than she's done good, and she has to know that. Maybe she just really likes being vegan so much to the point that she wants to be the only vegan on the planet, so she's trying to push as many people away from veganism as possible. That's the only logical explanation I can think of, if I'm being honest. Well guys, what are your thoughts? Has that vegan teacher just officially lost it, or are we just entering into a new era of rage baiting? Honestly, at this point, I don't really know anymore. For a while, I've given her the benefit of the doubt and just assumed she was playing a character, but my suspension of disbelief can only go so far, and I think we are reaching the limits. I would say I hope she doesn't go much further past this, but honestly, I don't really know what's left. Once you've got to comparing non-vegans to Hitler, you've sort of run out of people to compare them to. You've reached the peak, so hopefully it's downhill from here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.